This is surviving the music industry.
That sounds sick.
I didn't think about how that sounded.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to an exciting episode of SMI. Did I sell it? Is that feeling good? Is that feeling kosher with all you people? Is it feeling sanitized? SMI, Surviving the Music Industry. I'm Brandon Harrington. This is my podcast. You tune in weekly because you kind of want to know what's going on in my survival instincts of this thing. And I typically say we're kind of all in the same ship, but that can't be right. Because some people just kind of have it worse. I think we're all in the same storm, but we're not in the same ship. That's the negative realist thing in my head, people. I blame it on my mom why I talk this way and I see these things. I'm usually that dude in the back of the room that says, hey, you wrote that down wrong, or you did this wrong, or I got a question. Typically, most people don't like that. But here I am. I got a podcast, and you're listening. But chances are you wouldn't listen to the conversation I had with Walker Hayes. This isn't his first rodeo with me. We had a conversation a while back, episode 82. You guys want to go check that out. Talk a little bit more, kind of the interweavings. I think everybody's talked to that dude about his life, and he's had a pretty rough go at things, and it's really interesting. And to kind of see this hero and this redemptive quality in his story, especially now, you know, you can go listen to Bobby Bones has a really great conversation with him, and then we did one, of course. But ours was a little bit different. This was about the same time Boom was released, and that's been a bit. Walk, I know you just released 8 tracks back in December, so you guys need to go check that out. If you don't know anything about Walker, it's a legit dude from Alabama. He came to Nashville, do the songwriting thing. He got a pub deal. I mean, call it the unicorn thing. He got a pub deal like within like sheer months of just being here, and just kind of threw his hands up in the air. Why is this so hard? And then, of course, reality hits, and then just tough go at it. I think you guys ought to go listen to those stories, from working at Costco to questioning things, especially being married, having kids, and dealing with the things in your head. Well, I mean, you know me if you listen to this show. We go through the whole thing of what goes on in your head. And then, but again, like I said, there's a nice redemptive quality, and I think that's where Walk is right now. We're going through that redemption state. I hope everybody's doing well out there. I always like to start this thing kind of checking in on you peeps, checking in on you people to know what's going on in your life. I mean, your life is looking like anything like mine. You're done with Ozark. You're done with Tiger King episodes. It's already been played. It's done. So what's the new thing? You guys got to let me know. I don't know what the new thing is. The wife and I, we've been tapping into Westworld, digging that. I'm surprised she's digging that. This is where we're at, right? We're just talking about like what's out there. We're all in the same storm, different ships, right? Most people can't even afford to watch Westworld or anything. And I don't want to rub this privilege in by any means, but I mean, we're doing okay and we're helping where we can. You know what I mean? And prepping for the worst, if there is a worst to be done. Some people have it way worse. I mean, Nash was hit with that tornado, right? So those people on the east side, and especially on the north side, we live on the north side of town, and we try to do what we can, but there's limits in the headspace and, of course, financially. But, if you can't do anything financially, go lend a hand. But that's also a tough time to do that now, right? I don't know, people have really good intentions. They say they want to help, they want to do something, but then they'll follow through with those intentions. And that's something I've been thinking about here lately, working on like intent, especially in this time, right? You don't want to let this whole COVID-19 situation pass by and you're stuck at home and you're kind of thinking, well, I kind of wish I did something in that time instead of pout or whatever. I think it's all about intentions and what you do in that time. Talking to you gnarly people. So, I mean, that's my life hasn't changed that much. I'm doing a lot more episodes because I have this thing within me. I definitely want to talk to as many and cool, interesting people in music as I can and tap into their creative headspace and brains. And that's where I'm spending a lot of my time. I'm songwriting too. And Walk and I talk about that too. Don't steal my idea, by the way. I'll have my feelings hurt. But I think it's important to realize what that intention is and what you're going to do with it. If you guys tuning into this for the first time. I am not the pointer of giving pointers in life. This is just going on in my headspace right now. I'm interested in what you people are doing on your intentions of this time. I know the fam and I, we're going to go out and do fam stuff. We're going to go outside. We live on the outskirts of town, so a little bit of country. In an undisclosed bunker in White's Creek, so it's now disclosed. But it's a little bit of country. It's a little bit outside of Nashville. And we're on about an acre of land, and so we're going to go out. We're going to just picnic and throw the football around, that kind of thing. So spending time with the kid. If you guys follow me on TikTok, you know I got a kid, and it's all jokes and everything. I'm new to TikTok, actually. Hey, why don't you go give me a follow? I try to post funny videos just about every day. I try. Hope you get a laugh out of it. But they're all jokes, people. Calm down, Karen. Calm down. Anything that you might see, don't get upset. Samantha, Sarah Kate. If you're from the South, you got 2 names. Well, again, think about your intent, I guess, in this time. Because I'm analyzing that for myself, trying to figure out where is my intent, especially in conversation. And then also intent just in life with the people that know me in my headspace. And we're kind of locked up together. And so, love the people that you're with. Be kind to them. And I hope you guys are really doing well out there. Keep in touch at SMI Podcast. And, of course, go to smipodcast.com. Check out all the stuff that we have there. But you can also email us. Drop us a line. Whatever that means. Hope you stay in touch. Back to Walker, though. It's not the first time he's been around. We had a talk with him. Episode 82. And that was a while ago, right? I mean, we're approaching 200 here pretty soon. But we went through the thing of his life because I realized when he was on Bobby Bones, they did the thing, right? And so I just didn't want to regurgitate that. And so we talked about a little bit of the holes that were missed, especially emotionally and internally. So Walk is in a different place in life right now, right? I mean, he's going through sobriety. He's going through new music. He's released new music since Boom. Boom was a monster hit. Didn't even realize how big it was. I knew it was good. I knew it was big. And especially with signing on to Monument Records. I mean, the resurrection of that record label. Working with Shane McAnally. Hangs out with Josh Osborne too. But Boom hit it really big. I mean, he's got the plaques on the walls. And he's doing the thing. Life is feeling good. But we go through it right now. Especially with this new track being released. Trash My Heart. He's been dropping little Easter egg nuggets in the grams and the socials and stuff. I read one comment. One person was just it's April 20th, not April 24th. And his post was about the date. Oh, what a Karen. What a Karen. Trash My Heart's coming out April 24th. So if you're listening to this on the day it's released, coming out tomorrow. If you're listening to it on the 24th, it's out today. And then you're listening past it, it came out in the past. It came out yesterday. So check it out. It's on the streaming platform wherever you listen to your music. And, of course, it's available for purchase. What's wrong with buying music, people? But before that, he released 8 tracks. He always, dashes this little thing to his fans. I always enjoy those tracks. They're a little bit deep cuts, I think they're deep cuts into the heart. And from Walk, he says he's not going to stop bringing that to the fans. He's also an advocate, a little bit of a philanthropist. Be a Craig Fund. It's based off his song Craig, if you guys are fans of it. And I'm a fan of Walker. I think his phrasing is off the charts to me. I'm always learning how he does his phrasing and rhythmic with things off the beat and its syncopation within rhythm and time. So it's always interesting to me to hear his songs. Of course, he's got a great way to spin things. He's a great writer. And then so he built this fund, and it's from his song Craig. And you guys need to go listen to episode 82. I think we talk about Craig, and of course, Walks talk about Craig, especially in the importance of his life, and he brings it up in this conversation too. All that to say, things seem to be going really well in this redemptive state in Walk's life. Sounds like he's in a good creative headspace, but we get into it. We go on the deep end, talking about the mental state of where we're at right now. And I appreciate his vulnerability, his open to conversation. We get to Trash My Heart. You guys need to go give him a follow at Walker Hayes. And, of course, you can go to his website, walkerhayes.com, for anything else in between there. And I felt like I covered it, everybody. He's a rad dude. All right, here we go. Walk's just phoning in.
What's up?
What's up, bro?
Right on time.
Dude, I know. This is it. You're like you deserve a trophy. I don't know many artists that will do this like right on time.
Dude, that's funny. It's funny. Phoners are funny to me because, like, I'm really good. It's kind of like somebody's birthday. Like, the day before you're like, it's their birthday. I know it. And then you fast forward to the day after and you're like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
And I do that with phoners, like at 10:57. I'll be like, I got a call in a minute.
I know.
And then 11:15 comes around, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah. Dude, it just sneaks up on you so quick.
Yeah. I'm so ADD, man. My head, especially with this, just with everything that's going on. My wife and I, one of our biggest battles is just, my train of thought. She'll be like, hey, could you give me that screwdriver, from this room? And on the way to the screwdriver, I'll see 10 different things, grab an apple, and start writing a song, and then be like, what? What was I doing again?
But the best part about it, because I had that same problem too. Like, you go do the thing, you're going to go get confused in your head and start working on a song, but then you come back and you just sit on the couch and start like watching TV or something.
Exactly.
And then like the wife is just looking at you like, where have you been? And then
what just happened? Yeah.
Dude, that's the story of my life right now.
Yeah.
Especially with, when I was out on tour, I definitely didn't know what day it was, but now that this whole mess and there's no like context of time, and that's a whole like confusing thing in my headspace right now.
Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah, it's just a new norm. What's funny is like the first week for me, it was a catastrophe. It was like, what has life come to? Like, how are we ever gonna, manage this? And now it's funny for music. You could get used to it, kind of.
Dude,
like it's. I hate to say that. I miss, the shows and stuff, but I think it's going to be a while, till people feel secure enough to, really fill up places,
Right.
And that's going to be interesting, just kind of how we go back to that. And I really do think it's going to take a while. But as far as the creative process, all the other writers and artists I've talked to, it's just the juices are flowing because we're actually capable of completing these creative sentences, I guess, that happen in our heads. It's like you have time to go sit down and flesh out an idea, as opposed to I'll just text myself this and I'll get to it when I get to it. It's like, well, I really have nothing else to do today, so I guess I'm gonna finish this song.
Yeah, it's a weird, I feel like I'm in that place too. Like, I have more time to flesh out an idea for whatever that's worth, because I'm not like, I'm not texting like Grubhub or like waiting on that hub to show up or anything. But I feel like I'm starting to get to this point of like, the well's not dry, but it's the thing of like, well, I gotta like interact or get like new fresh ideas. There's only so many ideas I can get from Ozark or Tiger King or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like the thing of I'm not running out of stuff like creatively, but I'll have to like fill up that well. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, no, what I hear you saying is like, it's making all these outlets small, like even Spotify, and I've heard people like Tiger King. I haven't seen it, but apparently it came and went in a matter of weeks. But it's because even TikTok to me is small. I've seen it all. Like, there's nothing new you can show me, because I've literally had 2.5, 3 weeks to do nothing but make them and look at them. And so to me, I think it's making it's making the world, like the virtual world that we usually skim. I mean, I know we all have like lots of screen time, but you talk like I watched this show on maybe it's either Netflix or Hulu or whatever, but it's called The Morning Show.
Oh, yeah. Apple.
The time, somebody literally told me about this last Monday, and I watched the entire season, and I was basically done. Like, it was in the trash by Thursday.
And fulfilled. And so no more. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just like we consume this stuff now at such a fast rate that it makes that internet world just seem so tiny. You're like, you can't show me, kind of like, remember the days, I remember when forwards got really cool, like those forwards that you sent via email.
Yeah, right,
and then, after a couple of years, you rarely came across a new one. You're like,
right.
I've seen it all. And that's kind of how I feel. I'm with you on the new ideas. Like, I've got to get out and talk to a human, and we can like come up with something together so an idea can be born, outside of, like you said, Tiger King or Office reruns.
Right. I mean, I haven't done the Zoom like co-writing thing personally. I just feel like I wouldn't like it to begin with. But I feel like I got to start getting some new experiences because, dude, things just happen so quick. Exactly what you said. But then it's also the thing of like, for me, it's like, well, is this a good idea? Well, at this point, I don't care because I'm just talking to four walls right now. So I'm just going to put it down.
Yeah, the wall said it was good.
Yeah.
Well, man, I would encourage you. I was just fearful. I'm just that type of person with the Zoom thing. Like, my pub companies were like, hey, we want you to try this with so-and-so. And I was just like, no way. I was like, I'd rather just create at home. But, man, I tried Zoom. And one thing I liked about it, well, one, you don't drive anywhere, so that's nice.
Yeah, right.
Where I live, that saves me an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. And then another thing was, it was a very natural flow of the conversation at first. It was difficult to get used to because you can't cut each other off. You kind of want, so it's like being on the phone. Like, you have to just listen to someone kind of finish.
Yeah, you got to be patient, wait, and then like time it right. Yeah.
Right. And so, honestly, it works to my benefit. One, because I'm just I have a unique life situation as far as my job is concerned. And so this sounds rude, but man, when I'm in town and I go to write with somebody, I don't go there for the social aspect of it at all, which is crazy now. Now I see that I actually enjoyed that part of it, but there's not a lot of small talk on Zoom. It's very much like, hey, how you doing? Y'all hanging in there? Anybody need anything? And then you just start going around the Zoom like, well, what do y'all want to write? Yeah. And we finished. But both of my Zoom writes were really solid songs, and they were finished within 2 or 3 hours, that's unheard of for me. Like, if I was doing it just the old-fashioned way, where you actually saw a human, it would take us 5 hours, and we might not even have something.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get to it because this year I took a year off from like just doing co-writes, like personally,
right?
Just to kind of figure out, hey, what can I do? What can I actually bring to a table? And then, I thought, okay, 2020 is going to be the year I start like booking more co-writes, and then. And then Jan 1 dude, it just hit the fan. The COVID and the Ronas are just spinning, and it's just all over my life. And so
I know.
But dude, this is where it's at. I'll have to do the Zoom thing. I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, try it. Try it first with somebody you get to know pretty well and navigate it together. But yeah, it'll. Like I said, I mean, it falls in that category of I'm kind of getting used to it. I mean, I've been doing Zoom writes with my doors open and kids running around in the background, and I've really produced some pretty effective stuff. I mean, nothing's gone on an album or gotten cut or anything, but it's at least working out that muscle.
Yeah.
So if something really valuable comes along,
And it's worth
I'm
it.
confident.
Yeah. Because that you exercise that muscle and stuff. Well, how are you and Lainey and the kids doing right now?
Dude, we're great. Man, we honestly, and that's not even, I'm not just saying that like in passing. We could have used I guess it's somewhat of a reset button, We were in the process of moving exactly like literally the week people said, hey, stay in your homes. We moved that Thursday, and we actually moved. And I know you're pretty familiar with my music, but my best friend, his name is Craig.
Oh yeah,
and his, he kind of brought me, just led me to Christ, basically, with his example and how his family loved on us and just adopted us as children of God, basically. And anyway, this sounds kind of insane, but the house next door to him went on the market, and we just bought it. And so we have actually, we kind of made like a pact with his family and his kids and stuff that we would quarantine together, like as a family.
Yeah.
And so, man, we have dinner at either one's house, every night. And gosh, man, I mean, it's actually just been awesome. And again, thank goodness my job is, I can do my job with a pen and a notepad anywhere, and so, I'm still continue to work. So I still have that, I guess, coping mechanism, for life to lean on, but that's about it. I mean, at first, Lainey and I, we had a really tough first few days. And I think it was because of the move and the quarantine, like hitting it at the same time. And, the moving with my wife is always frustrating because I have a way of moving things and she has a way of moving things, and they're completely different. Like, I don't care if I ding up the wall, I just want to get it from one house to the other.
Dude, you and I are the same person, man. I could give like two shits about anything as long as that box is in the trailer and it gets into the next place. I don't care.
Exactly. I'm even like, I'm like, if it's a dish and it broke, it was just it's time to go. And so we, with that going on, and then also, Lainey and I, you have 15 years of somewhat of a balance, like, hey, I'm out this month. We're very adaptable, but the changes, it's like a buffer area. There's a couple days when we undergo change in our life that you have to give us a minute to get used to it. And so that really was hard, but thank goodness, we had Craig's children in mind. They have, got along great. And we've also had to, we be in quarantine, you throw two families basically in the same house. I mean, you have to figure out like personal space, schedules, and things like that. Like I stay up till like 4 a.m. because that's when my kids go to bed at like 11, and I get in this little studio in my house, and I just, I go to work, and then, I wake up pretty late. And so man, thanks for asking. I mean, we're doing well, and it's definitely a daily, it's just a day by day thing. At first we were still thinking long term, like down the road. And then we learned, man, you have to wake up and go, where does my motivation for the day come from? You know what I mean? Because it's hard to wake up in this quarantine, and as a man, I know personally it was just hard to get up and do normal things because you're kind of like, why? Like, no,
right.
It's not like I'm going anywhere tomorrow or I have a show somewhere,
Right. I'm in that boat too. Like, because I do, because I woke up today and I put on a hoodie that I've had since junior high, and like I haven't shaved since quarantine started, so it's been months. And then of course I haven't got a haircut, so I look like somebody just broke up with me. And you know what I mean? So it's like trying to find that motivation or that thing of like, keep doing your thing. And I definitely feel that. I guess the difference between you and I do moving is stressful to begin with. And then you're basically starting to form your own cult situation with your kids, messing with Craig's kids. That's stressful. And then, oh man, and then plus you got music and stuff coming out and doing the music thing. For me, like I have this, I can sit and talk to whoever. I hate phoners, but I'll get it done. I'll go ahead and do it.
Right.
But yeah, and then the songwriting thing is like, oh, that's something I'm doing in this season. But for people like you that are just like out there doing it, like doing the thing, trying to put music out, that's like another stress level. And so, yeah, I'm always worried about families and like how they're doing and stuff, especially in this time. And it's tough. And I know like you're dealing with sobriety and everything. That's a tough thing everybody seems to be talking about. And I'm glad everybody is like kind of talking about it because that's a thing.
Dude, that I tell you what, man. So I am by no means like I've really enjoyed what happens when you get sober is you begin to meet people who were walking on that edge, like they were kind of having those conversations with themselves, saying, "Hey, man, maybe I need to quit too." And they really do. It's a beautiful thing. They come out of the woodwork because they see you and they're like, okay, like he's vocal about it. He had a problem. Let me compare my situation with his and kind of evaluate where I am and get his advice. And man, and which is funny because like I'm no therapist or what. I have no idea how to really, help people. But I met, I've been kind of walking with a few guys through their own battles and just trying to help them in any way I can by just telling them how it was for me and how it is and things. And man, it's been hard to watch some of them because this is just it's an unrealistic time to be able to quit something like that.
Oh.
It's just there's no way, if you had your last drink that if you've been drinking 10 years straight and you stopped the 2 weeks before this hit, it's just unrealistic to think that you're still sober by now.
Right,
because,
right, yeah.
We were all of humanity was stripped of the crutches that we leaned on and maybe didn't know we leaned on so much. I didn't realize how much solidity and identity I found in walking through an airport with a guitar and flying to another city and playing a show and come home. That was who I was. And then now that whole chunk of me is gone. And so trust me, I mean, there have been days during this quarantine and I thought, man, it would be really nice to just have a fridge full of beer today. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's definitely a conversation that's another one of those just impacts on the fringe of this where you're like, man, we haven't even thought about those repercussions. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all.
Psychologically, what's this going to do to people who were someone before this started, and then you leave them to their thoughts and you take away everything, that supported them out from under them. And it's like, man, you're going to have a lot of people reaching for things that we sadly know aren't the healthiest things for us to reach for.
Yeah, man, this time is like really, it's stripped away. I'm glad you even mentioned identity because that's something I just wrestle with in humanity to begin with.
Oh yeah.
But then also like in this isolation of time, which everybody's in isolation, whatever that's worth, even though you digitally can connect, it's still isolation. You're left like in your own headspace. And then,
Yeah.
and dude, there was definitely like years when I got off the road and that was my identity. So I can definitely sympathize with that. And I just have to empathize with addiction. I feel like addicts, or at least the conversations I have with addicts, like a lot of that crutch is identity. You know, like it's something that you can lean on. It's something that identity in other people. You know, that's why there's AA, because there's other people going through the same shit that you're going through. So the stripped away of identity in this, like this onion layer, that's insane to think about and what that does to your psyche, and especially at this time, man. That's crazy.
It is, man. It's wild. And you know what, though, dude? We're all. It's kind of one of those situations that, to me, this is such a bittersweet reality about life, is that, you know, not everybody's going to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like when confronted with trials that you know, and Laney and I we've been hit hard with this, and it's when we lost Oakley, life just slapped us in the face and said, hey, you think you have control. You think you thought this mattered, but it doesn't. This is what matters, and you truly can't control it. You know, life is fragile, and you don't have the control you thought you did. And so we learned that lesson. You know, we were fresh out of that kind of life 101. You know, for the past few years, and so this is a lot similar. I mean, this is a lot similar to those feelings. It's not as, I don't feel that pain. It's not the same grief, but it is a reminder of like, hey, you know, there are things you can control, and there's a whole lot that you can't. And then what my point was is that if you can make it through this, we will just all be better for it, you know. And then sadly, but it's a beautiful sadness, but that's really just how all of the hardships in life are.
Yeah.
You know, on the other side of them, you know, I don't like to be left to my thoughts, but it's kind of cool when you are able to wrestle with them and come out on the other side. You know, that's how quitting drinking was for me. Like, sobriety was exhilarating. It was awesome, but there were those moments where the darkness kind of crept in.
Right.
And it was like, oh, that's what this feels like when I'm not numb. And it was like, oh, no wonder I drank, because I don't know what to do with these self-destructive feelings. You know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people right now, they're having to face those, and they haven't faced in a long time, because, you know, I'm not saying the world is bad, but, you know, how many trips we take to Starbucks a day, or the things we purchase just because we can go in a store, or the shows that we play, you know, that maybe aren't that important, or are, you know, there's just things that we do in life, and we think, hey, I've got to do these things, or this is normal, but now we're kind of being forced to see, and maybe I was going to the gym, maybe that was just another drink for me, or at least that's the case of an addict. You know, it's like, really, I feel like addicts just replace addictions their entire life, and then, you know, hopefully before I die, all of my addictions are healthy.
Yeah,
but I truly feel like if you can get through these trials, you're always better for yourself and for humanity on the other side, when you realize some truths about yourself, and, you know, maybe make some decisions to better yourself in some way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. But also, I feel like, you know, some of the scariest things you can do is like learn about yourself. You know, like if you dig in your heart and your soul, even as a creative, like as a songwriter or whatever you do, like you dig that out. Like, is life better knowing whatever that dark, cold nugget is on the inside, or to kind of go on with ignorance? You know what I mean? Like, is ignorance bliss?
You said hit it on the head. We're forced to learn about ourselves right now.
Yeah. That's definitely true, dude. And that's why, like, especially in some of your music, Like your music's always been interesting to me. Like dude, I've told you this before. Like your phrasing is off the wall, like crazy to me. Like I wish I could do that. I just have too much like Catholic Irish stock in me, I guess. But but the thing about your music that I've started to reanalyze since you did 8 tracks again, Volume 3. When that came out, when did that come out? Was it December, November?
I think it was like November or December. Yeah, I think
okay.
it was December. You were right. It
Yeah.
was like December 7th or 8th or something.
Yeah, okay. And I feel like, dude, and I've known you like for years, just like on the other side, like hearing some of your songs, and we've had conversations before, but like diving into this new volume, it made me realize, bro, like I feel like you have like a quote unquote dark side. You know, there's like some sadness, like to a lot of your music. Obviously, like with the addiction, like the beer in the fridge song, like in past. But then, I think what really struck me when I listened to Dad's Sailboat. I think when I listen to that, I feel like most people would think, it's just a sailboat. Dad's selling it. It's not a big deal. But I took it as, this is like memories and sentimental value and realizing the age of your father and like the time, like the shaking of the hands. Bro, you are a sad dude.
Yeah, I can. You should talk to my wife about that, because to me, I don't know how to say it, but to me, there is a sadness, and that's a great. It's funny. It's wild. No one's ever like pinpointed that song and said, maybe this is who you are, but that is, and to me, it's to be that sad. Life also has to be really good.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me to look at my dad as like I do, and to see that for sale sign, and for my heart to break like it does, when I see his hand, and his hand looks exactly like my granddad's, and when I hug his body and I feel the frailness in his shoulders, at the same side, to me, that sadness it's balanced by you wouldn't feel like that if you didn't love someone that much.
Right, right, yeah.
So to me, part of the beauty is kind of the sadness that comes along, with life. It's like, I'm really sad that one day, my kids will grow up, and they will not, it makes me hurt when Laney pulls out old videos of my sons, and I see them as these little toddlers, learning how to throw the ball with me. I mean, that physically pains me to watch. I can't really watch home videos for long because it hurts so much, but there's a beauty. It's just, that's a great hurt to have, if you had a dad like the dad in Dad's Sailboat, where a son physically feels agony and can't talk to it, can't talk about the sale of my dad's boat with my mom because it'll hurt too much, And so, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely one of those people. I focus, there's a darkness that's beautiful to me, about life, and I feel like I love shows, I love songs, and I can't write something normally, that's just all happy, because, man, I mean, that's not real.
Yeah, right.
That's just not life, I mean, I hate to focus. I don't think I'm let's focus on the negative, but for there to be redemption, which is the greatest thing of all to me, there has to be some brokenness, and man, that's what life is full of. I try to tell my kids, cherish those beautiful, happy moments, because life is not, the majority of life is not that. It is the majority of life is struggle it's no, it's rejection, it's reality, it's heavy, it's loss. You know what I mean? Like it's watching. Dead Celibate, a great example. It's literally watching the hero, you know, that lifted you up into the sky and made you feel so tiny, and then watching that hero weaken and become fragile and mortal, and then eventually having to walk this earth knowing that they're just not here anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's a movie. I mean, it's the greatest movie that just happens in our own lives. But yeah, I mean, I love having a sense of humor and an awareness about the dark things in life. And I don't know why. You know, I was talking to my manager the other day about we're kind of working on writing I don't know what it's going to end up being, like a show or a movie, but just about my life. And man, there's something in me that's almost obsessed with that challenge of overcoming the darkest parts of life. It's just, and I've never cowered or stepped back from failure. And I don't know if that's like a wire that's broken in my brain, or if it's like kind of a nurture thing that may have happened growing up, or what. But it's just, you know, I am, the Lord has given me a gift to be aware of how brief life is. And so there's not a lot of, you know, like chasing a dream. It didn't seem so scary to me. It gets scarier the older I get, I will say. You know,
Same
as
here.
I have more responsibilities, and I have children to feed, and I have a wife to take care of. I mean, those things make dreams scarier to chase. But still, on a, you know, if you had to rate me as like sane or insane, I'm definitely on the closer to insane. Like the world and the world's opinions and the world's norms don't deter me, you know, from chasing something crazy. And that goes along with the whole darkness. You know, a lot of people hear my songs sometimes and they're like, man, that's really sad. But I don't see it like that. I see it as, hey, that's really true, and I'm still here to write about it. You know what I mean? So that's the redeeming hope. It's like, look, you know, we had a car with thumbtacks on it, and I didn't have anything good happening to me. And look, now I'm on stage singing the song.
Right. Yeah, it's the thing of like, what is it? Art imitates life, or life imitates art kind of thing. And I think about it, like even my own writings. And then also, I think I just realized it because also misery loves company. And so like when I'm at my most miserable, like you're able like to point out, oh, okay, well, that's it. If you're more of a redemptive state of your life, and it's like, oh yeah, I do see the joy and the happiness and the happy ending of that. But I mean, like but maybe that's just it. Maybe it's like where you're at in life and your headspace. Because look at, I don't know, Travis Meadows. Like Travis, it's like one of my favorite writers, but that dude is depressing. Yeah. And there's not a lot of redemptive qualities like in that dude's songs, you know?
Right.
Like,
except the one thing that is redeeming to me about Travis Meadows is I'm not alone. That's a massive lifeline. And to me, that's what music was for me. Have you ever heard a song by a guy named Harry Chapin called he's a guy who wrote Cats in the Cradle, but he had this song called Mr. Tanner. You ever heard that song?
It's not ringing a bell right now, no.
Man, you gotta hear this. Anyway, it's about it's a song that's literally carried me on its shoulders for many years, and it's about a guy who works at a cleaner's, like a pressing coats and cleaning stuff. And he has a beautiful voice, and his friends convince him, hey, you know, you should sing, you know, in public. And he goes and he sings, and he gets completely obliterated by the critics. and they're like, man, he lacks all these things, and he just goes back home and he sings like late at night as he's pressing coats, and I just love that story. And as I even tell it to you now, I think that's okay. Like, everybody doesn't become Taylor Swift,
Right,
and
right,
it's not
right.
like that, and that guy, yes, his heart got broken, but he tried, and he did it. And then he lived on the other side of that, slap in the face. And so, yeah, I don't even know what my point was, but it was like, I feel like music for me, the loudest thing, the greatest thing I reach to it for is just to help with the loneliness and to go, I love that 21 Pilot song about the silence and the radio and to rip it out. Anyway, but it addresses that, like, loneliness, and I love songs where I go, man, I do that too. Like, I've thought of that as well.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I found with that Sailboat is so many men. I love when grown men are softened, by a lyric or a song, because that's just usually not the case. But I love when guys, who I played sports with or something call me up and they're like, man, that Dad Sailboat song, like, that got me.
Yeah, right,
and,
right.
And I love that because I just want to say, hey, like, it gets me too. Like, every time I go home, I see my dad in phases. Like, I see him twice a year, so I notice, like, it's worse. It's a little bit better, or
Yeah, that song. Yeah, it was a song that made me remember, and it made me a little tear up. I mean, I cry at Pixar movies too, so I don't know.
I do too.
Oh, dude, it hits me every time. Like, this new Onward, it killed me. But that's what it felt like. It was like the same thing of like a father's love and knowing what that is and seeing these phases, and it's the. It's not the dark side of life, but I always have this thing of life as a dark comedy, and like in the most traditionalist of sense that I feel like Dad Sailboat like is one of those. And dude, as I was listening to Trash My Heart too, I had these complex emotions as well.
Yeah.
And so is it? I mean, and this is maybe the analytical side of my brain, like piecing it apart, breaking it apart. But what is that track to you?
So to me, Trash My Heart, it came from a very kind of an experimental process for me. And I'm going to see if I can break it down and be brief for you. But, man, that song it's one of the weirdest songs for me to have put out. I don't think anybody will really think that, upon first and multiple listens, but we had just come off that 8-track. I think the last song that I recorded in my bedroom for that 8-track was "Wish I Could Drink," I think there was a part of me that had gone so introspectively, like with Acceptance Speech, Dad Sailboat, Wish I Could Drink, the Mobile song about love, hate, like a lot of those things, like you just said. I mean, those really kind of open the windows and doors to the dark. Like, hey, this is what's really going on in the guy, and you broke up in the guy's soul, And honestly, those 8 tracks only travel so far. I mean, they're not intended by my label to get to these massive. Those are just ways that they allow me to feed the core of my, I guess, followers and friends and stuff.
Yeah.
So thank goodness they allow me to do that. But Trash My Heart was written at a retreat, and I had 3 days where I would drive to Old Hickory Lake, and I would get there at about 8, kind of get the coffee started, turn on the light at this house, and then writers would show up, and we would write. We did 3 a day for three days, and the intention of that retreat was really to help me get out of that space, like that dark place that you're talking about, because I there's an 8-track side of me, and then there's a side of me that truly desires to bring more people to the banquet, if you will, so that I can let them hear those things. I get emotional when I think of, I want the rest of the world to hear Craig. I'm not done with that song. I want to share, that experience of my life way more than I do, some of the other things that I write about. But I also realize, that your radio singles, those are your business cards, and that's how you get people to come in and stumble upon the Dad Sailboats and the Wish I Could Dreams. And that frustrates me. I don't love that about this system. That makes me angry, but it also it's just a fact. And
but that's where you can because I feel like what you started off with the spill of, I feel like when people listen to 8-track and they listen to this, they might think, oh, well, what's up with that? First of all, I hate how people listen to music. They always try to attach it to something else when they should just listen to for what it is right in front of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you look at a painting, you don't judge the other paintings. You just look at the painting. Right. And so I feel like that's a bad listener thing that we probably all do. But at the same time, it did strike me that way because I have complex emotions about this song. But then knowing your music already, but looking at it lyrically, it's kind of oh, well, there's a little piece of Walk right there. I know what that is. There's a tinge of sadness with it, with a really cool, fun idea. Right?
Yeah.
I could be putting that in your words or putting that in your mouth, but
no.
Yeah.
To me, here's my flaw is that I fail to realize that music is more than a lengthy conversation on a therapist's couch. And this song taught me that lesson. And going back to the retreat, I went to that retreat purposely to say, instead of spending 3 months on each of my songs and exhausting line after line after line to articulate, a deep emotional experience for the listener, I'm going to let some of this come out very, very raw and less edited. And because, and honestly, a self experiment going on in my career is how, you broke up with me in 90s country. Some of those songs, they weren't my most overthought songs. They truly possess a magic that I wish I could say, yeah, I sat down and I wanted to, I wanted people to crank it up and want to move like that, but I didn't. I kind of didn't care, and those, some of those songs are there, and that's kind of how I am as a listener too. I think a lot of people that they probably think I'm like this. From what I write the most of, they probably think I'm some kind of intellectual listener. I only like very intricate, but that could not be any more opposite. I'm a sucker for just a dumb hit song.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
I love songs that people they'd be like, oh, that's my guilty pleasure, and I'd be like, man, I don't feel guilty at all for loving that song. And so I love those, and so Scratch My Heart, there were tons of other songs that I wrote that said particular things where I'm a very person who's conscious of what am I saying to the world? How am I using my platform right now? And that was frustrating about Trust My Heart, because I'd go, here's Trust My Heart. What does it say? I don't really know. Like, I don't know if it helps anybody lyrically out there. But when you listen to it, it just has power to me. It stood above other songs that said smarter or more timely or more helpful things. Like, I had other songs where I was like, man, I just want to tattoo this song on my chest. But when I played it next to That's My Heart, I just was like, I just hear this song everywhere. I hear it like everywhere. I mean, it just sounds, the melody will not leave my head. The emotion that it evokes when it comes on makes me want to dance like I'm 18 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And that was a great lesson to me. And thank goodness, honestly, my team pointed that out from the demo phase of the song. I mean, when I turned that song in with those 9 that we wrote, I thought it was great. I was like, this is album material for sure, because I was like, I just want to sing this live and watch, and everybody dance with me. But my team just reacted to the emotional value of that song. And that's a great example. I honestly can't explain why I love the press rewind on that song. I can't tell you why. It's not, I do think, and I'm with you, like you said, I'm all over it. When I hear it, I'm like, this is way more unique than I give it credit for. Like the Continental Breakfast line, the phrasing in that, the chorus, the Holiday Inn line is my favorite.
Yeah,
like,
I love that one too.
I'm so Holiday Inn to you.
That's
and
so
then
good.
the phrasing in the verses, like it has like a swag where I even listen to it and I'm like, I'm not that cool. It sounds like I'm really cool, but I'm like, I'm not.
Bro,
cool. I love
your dad cool. Like you're way cooler than like dad cool. You know what I mean?
I love it, but yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what too. The production on it. It's, if I heard that song come out on country radio, I would be jealous. I'd be like, I want something that sounds like that.
Yeah.
It's in a weird way, more than anything I've put out, I feel like it actually fits on the radio, but it doesn't sound like anything on the radio, that's truly hard to capture. It's not hard for me to just sound different, but it is difficult for me. Even You Broke Up With Me, when I hear it on the radio, I think to myself, how in the world did this make it on the radio?
Right.
It sticks out like a sore thumb. But this song, it sticks out even more to me, but it fits even more to me. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, I think it's like, to me, it's kind of like, well, okay, this is Walker's like MO. Like, here it is. Like, it's going to be like a snap happy track with, well, at first you're not going to notice like the layer of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like at first glance, you're going to think, okay, I could hear this like on pop radio and this is it. And it is, I have to say, like the track even does hit harder in this sonically to me than Broke Up With Me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But then also the thing that makes it emotionally complex, it's kind of like The Matrix. I had to watch like The Matrix like 7 times like to really understand it. So like diving in like to this track and listening to it like a few times, like to say, oh, okay, like if I'm trashing a hotel room, I understand how that could be fun, but somebody's kind of left with the bill and that kind of sucks. And then like taking this wild roller coaster ride with a woman with lipstick all over the sheets, and okay, there's this thing that it's fun right now, but emotionally, like she's not even going to stick around, like for that continental breakfast kind of thing. Like that's That's a little dark in a way, and I guess it depends like where you're at, like in your headspace. Like if you're just like
Right.
100% bro, you're gonna think, oh, this is the best night ever. She just bounced. That's it.
Right.
But then like the older I am, it's kind of like, well, I want that emotional connectivity with the person they just leave. That's what makes it a sad song. So like when I say that this track, to me, it's not one like to just listen one time and that be it. Like there's,
Right.
it's kind of like Daft Punk's like Random Access Memories to me. Like the more you listen to it, the more little things like you will find, and that's what
Right.
will make it kind of go on this emotional roller coaster, or even sonically you'll discover something different. But yeah, dude, this is something you should definitely be proud of, because it made me think, but it wasn't like, oh, super brainy think. And it sounds like
Right.
it's not like you spent hundreds of like creative hours like to write this, like you have a PhD in art or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
not that brainy.
Well, man, I enjoyed that process, and like I said, that one possessed something that I didn't. I wish, like I said, I mean, I truly wish I could write things like that and go, yep, that has this theme. But that was a process, you know. I mean, I had to listen to it, and I had to trust my team and go, okay, you know, this really has some magic. But I mean, you're right. There's just, that's the beauty about music, man. It's just like certain notes and emotions that are evoked. You really can't like herd them and wrangle them. Sometimes they just fall, you know, in the right place. And this was just one of those songs. I mean, there's no doubt. I have no like, oh, is this going to work? Is this, you know, going to make it? Just, I want to hear it again and again. And you're right. There's a hard hitting quality of it. And you know, it's funny. One of my favorite songs growing up, again, this is a testament to my, you know, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, you're such an idiot. But I love the song Margaritaville. And the reason I loved it was because it was happy, but so depressing.
Yeah, right.
You know, I feel like it kind of, I feel like most people, they do like, really? That's a depressing song? But, you know, if you listen to that lyric, it's a guy, you know, coming to terms with kind of messing up my life.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
And you know, I'm kind of blaming people, but it's really, actually, it's my fault. And there's no like, so tomorrow I'm going to get up and make a list and take a shower and go for a run. It's just, it might be my fault, you know?
Right.
And that's what, you know, I'm not here to touch my heart to Margaritaville, but, you know, there is, like you said, sadly people say all the time in different situations in life, they say, here, just use me like free shampoo.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Have at it. I'm going to let you. And, you know, let's go for it, because right now it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to deal with the consequences later, and I'll write that in another song.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I understand that. You just have like a crazy talent. I wish I could have that, because I feel like there's a thing about, okay, I can write to this emotion or about this motion, but then like you're gonna put like cellophane on top of it, and it becomes like something people maybe don't catch at first. You know, like I'm gonna sit down and write a sad song, and it's just gonna be a sad song. But you can like write a sad song, and it's kind of like, oh, this could be like, this is my jam for the summer kind of thing.
Right.
You know, that's an incredible talent.
I encourage all writers, like, I've even had this conversation. My kids get tired of it, but they're starting to write songs, and man, the truth is priceless. Like,
right.
That's just, you know, it's going back to Dad's sailboat. You know, I just say what I see. That's it. You know, like when I hug my dad, I feel his body just feels different.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And so I write that line. I say, man, I hugged him and his body felt different. You know, and that's what I think too many people don't realize about writing. And it's because, you know, a lot of us, I did this for a long time. You know, I tried to copy my heroes.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what I realized was they were just writing what came to their brain. You know, like we could write a song about this conversation we're having, you know, and a lot of people would go, man, I've connected like that too before, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of the thing of like, for me, it's kind of like Keith Whitley or somebody. You know, that dude was
Oh gosh.
right,
Dude.
bro. Like that dude was super dark. He had a really sad life, dealt with alcoholism, but then like he could come back and write like these amazing songs melodically and lyrically that will just like blow your mind, but it's just like a piece of that dude's heart. It's kind of like when comedians, they're like, comedians are some of the most like depressing people I know, but then like they get on stage and they make people laugh. I feel like that's kind of a quality few songwriters can really like have. Like it's a special gift of like, oh, I'm gonna put my soul in this thing that I see in this way that I see it, but I want you to feel something a little bit differently.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think my favorite songs are the ones they're about with things we all think but just never say.
Yeah, right.
Talk about. And but yeah, man, I mean, it's just the truth. And that's hard. Like, you know, you're a creative person, you're a writer. It's easy to sit down and it's not hard for anyone to write poetry. That's what I think writers and aspiring creative people don't realize is it's easy to sit down and go, man, a tree is this green and it's like this and it does this. Like poetry is not hard to me. What's hard is to strip away all the try to rhyme this word and this word and say it like you would legit say it.
Yeah, it comes from an honest place. Yeah,
exactly. Because when you team a unique thought with honesty, you succeed, man. Like as soon as you do that, you're gonna touch a heart. Now, will it be the most commercially viable thing you've ever created, and will it be an easy sell? No. Quite frankly, it will be the opposite. However, you will be more proud of that. And that's what I love about Trash My Heart is that, no, I didn't re-edit it. And there's no life-changing meaning, but it is a real scenario. Right, it is a real, you know, I say Trash My Heart, you know, to the music business all the time. I go, hey, I don't want to deal with what's going to come after this, but I want this right now.
Right.
And, you know, and we say that, you know, a lot. And then we team up, you know, the production again, you know, Shane, Sam Simpson and Sean, they flushed that song. I mean, I would be embarrassed for anyone to hear the OG demo to that because their version, it sounds like we're in like a country club in Denver. You know, it's crazy. When that song comes on, all my kids, they do dances where I'm like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that in front of your grandparents. Like, that's kind of dirty looking. You know what I mean?
I do, dude. As soon as you said country club in Denver, like my head totally went there.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting in it's like it is. It's like it's the song they play when like the band's done and they're like, all right, everybody on the dance floor, and you're in the Grizzly Rose, and they just like you hear that bass hit, and everybody with boots on like goes crazy.
Yeah, right. Things get a little dirtier outside the lines.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, hey, everybody turn your phone cameras off.
Yeah.
This is a safe zone. I know. But yeah, man, it's just, you know, one thing that's tough for me is I'm just not, in reality, I'm just not one thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that is, you know, that's one thing I hope people will, that's one exciting thing I'm super pumped about Trash My Heart is it's another side of me that I don't think people have seen. And I think the more diverse I get, the more used to not being able to expect what I'm coming with people will get, you know?
Yeah,
this is totally other end of the spectrum when you compare it to Don't Let It,
Right,
right. And I want people to go, oh, he's a real human. Like, he's like me. Like, he feels one way one day, and then the next day he feels different.
Right.
That's awesome,
Well, it's also the thing, too, like, obviously you got to be thinking about, like, follow-up to Boom. Because, like, at least in my head, like, there's Boom, and then whatever's going to follow up, but then the 8 tracks are, like, something else, right? Do you feel that way, or is it like Boom, and then, like, the 8 tracks are the follow-up to that?
To me, the 8 tracks, to me, they're going to be sprinkled in forever.
Yeah.
They'll never go away. Now, I see the 8 track as like, you want to see behind the curtain.
Yeah, right.
What I'm saying? And then, but I'm going to tell you, my life's ambition is to be able to put albums out that have it all.
Yeah,
and that's what was exciting about Boom is like, I felt like it had a couple songs. Like Prescriptions is left field. You're like, you're like, wait a second, this is the Beckett guy, the Mind Candy guy,
right,
this is beautiful, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I hope that guy you're sleeping with, I hope you say my name to him. Like that's dark.
That was one of my favorite songs, probably because it was that dark. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, that's truly who I am. If you ask my wife, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, Walker's like he's real, extrovert. Is he just funny all the time?" And she would be like, "No, like actually he goes to like really, really gloomy places and he gets stuck there."
Yeah, me too.
We have to get him out.
Yeah, I get that. Well, the reason I ask is I at least wanted to line that up in my imagination that I feel like it's always stressful for that follow up. You know what I mean? Like, because exactly what you're saying, like, and there's also this thing about the listener or audience or people always want to try to figure out people. And the fact is, like, they never will. They're like, humans are always evolving, and especially like the artist, creative, like you want to do something different and kind of change that up.
Right.
But then, like, Boom, at least in my eyes, was like, dude, that was a hit. Like, that was a thing of like, oh, this dude is made, like he's gonna go do his thing. But then it's also the stress of like, okay, do I change things up a little bit, or do I put that familiarity, like, to make people kind of keep coming back, or do I change it up? Do I kill off a major character or something? You know what I mean? Like, it's the thing of the stress of, well, what do I do now?
Right, and that stress, sadly, it inhibits material. I mean, you begin to hear yourself. You begin to listen in your car. You hear your demos and your musings and your ideas, and you go, "Hey, I just hear me aiming." You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what was fun about Chash My Heart was like, I just hear me having fun. Like I hear me liking every line. Like when I hear that song, I go, I remember when we said, just the phrasing of no reservation, we were like, that just sounds fun. We got excited. And that was fun about that retreat is that it really brought back the flair, like the sexiness, the fun of writing. And really, because left to my own devices, I think about those things that you were talking about. I think about, well, does this sound like enough like you broke up with me and stuff? Like, and then once you start thinking about that, you're not being honest. You're just trying to predict what people want. And what was fun about Boom is I had no idea people wanted that. I just knew that's just where I was, in life. And I was honest.
It's always hard to me, like the thing of what the heart wants versus like what numbers are telling me,
Yeah.
Like there's this thing of, yeah, sure, listen to this. Like if you go on this path of this route of success and trajectory, you should be okay. But that's not really what I'm feeling on the inside. My insides are like a twisted vine to Mount Mordor or something, like on Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Like it's just this thing of trying to figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. Well, my team and I, you should interview teams sometimes because we fight about that.
Yeah.
I mean, they say, hey, this is what's working out there, and I go, well, guys, y'all didn't say that when we came out with our first stuff.
Yeah,
no one was like, hey, there's songs like You Broke Up With Me working out there. Let's write one of those. It was actually the opposite. It was like, there's nothing out there like this, but we just want to hear it. So let's put this out, and so that's a frustrating argument we have a lot especially when people get to the specifics, like radio doesn't want a ballad. And I go,
right.
They probably said that when Cam came out with the Burning House song.
Right,
they probably said that when Carly Pierce came out with Every Little Thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, the world did want a ballad. Like that's exactly what they want. Die Young. If I Die Young, I always refer to that song, and I'm like, this was sad. It was literally about if I just die. Like, that's, but people's hearts were right there, and it defied the odds. So I'm always a fan of, again, it goes back to my obsessed. I'm not really afraid to flop. What I'm afraid of is doing exactly what everyone predicts and says will work, and it not working, because my biggest successes have been on songs and material that everyone said no to. You Broke Up With Me, no one in the business
That's amazing.
said that would work. They said this is mean. You can't say this to a woman. They'll get their feelings hurt. It has no chorus. What's the chorus? What's the bridge? I don't know. It doesn't have a lift. Are you really going to leave it like basically the Shaq production? You know what I mean? And man, lo and behold, that song's huge. Now, I've had other songs that people said, man, this is going to work. This is what radio wants from you. This is perfect. And man, it just didn't react. So I tend to be like, hey, man, I don't care what the stats are. I don't care what trend is working. And that's also what excites me about, Trash My Heart, is it's not following suit. Like that sound, A, of all that sounds very unique, but B, it's not like that. That's what everyone else is doing right now.
Right.
And I think that will serve it in the long run. I think it will jump. The second that beat comes on the radio, people's ears, you're either going to love it or be like, this threatens me and everything that I know, about country music.
Yeah, that's awesome. I started writing a song, I guess maybe yesterday, the day before, basically how the world needs a sad song to make you feel better about yourself.
Oh, dude, that's a great idea.
So like the thing of, well, I'll go through the bankruptcies and I'll go through like the divorce and stuff to make you feel better kind of thing.
Oh gosh, that's genius, man. And that's, sadly right there, that is the formula to media, is like, that's why we are drawn to reality TV. We're like, oh, they're more messed up than us.
Dude, 100%. Yeah. The reason people watch Tiger King is because this dude doesn't exist, and why would any normal person do this? I mean, that's it.
I gotta watch that. Is it worth watching? Like, did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing. I haven't watched the newest episode. We'll probably get down with that pretty soon. But it's bro, it depends on what side of the fence you're on. If you're like ultra like PETA, bro, you're not gonna get down with it whatsoever.
Right.
But if you're kind of like, oh, that's a crazy character, sure.
Right.
It's 100% like Jerry Springer. Or Maury Povich.
It's shock value.
Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah. But it's amazing, like, these people exist in our reality. Like, I'm always shocked at that.
That right there is what I hear the most. People are like, I just can't believe it's true. Like, some people have even told me, like, I don't think it's real.
Right.
Yeah, man, those things fascinate me.
Yeah, dude, I think you get behind it.
Sure. Right. But dude, it's been awesome.
No, dude, thanks for hanging out today, man. That's it.
Dude, anytime, hit me up. And if you got any, questions or whatever, follow up things you need to know, I'm pretty wide open till this virus goes away.
If you're not doing homeschooler right now, you're pretty open.
I know everybody. Somebody the other day was like, "Hey, can you Zoom right at 5 p.m. 2 Thursdays from now?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm
You
pretty
do it
wild.
tomorrow?
I don't even really need to look." Yeah, I was like, "I'm pretty open till Christmas. By Christmas, I
100%.
probably need to go see my parents. But other than that, I'm good."
Dude, that's it.
We'll see how this pans out, though.
Bro, pandemic pans out. That's it.
Yeah.
Dude, you're awesome. Wondering how your pandemic's going to pan out? Hope it's a little bit better, at least listening to this conversation with Walker Hayes. That's what you guys just listened to. Did I have to say that? If you got to this point, you've been listening to Walker Hayes and our conversation on SMI. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Again, go visit Walker Hayes at Walker Hayes on all his social stuff. He's got that TikTok going on. While you're at it, we got a TikTok too, so jump on that. But Walk does the family thing, has some great videos, and it's funny, keeps you entertained. And of course, walkerhayes.com. Go check out that new music, Trash My Heart. It's out April 24th. Go pre-save it, go pre-purchase, go stream it, go download it, go enjoy it. Nice little jam, some little hidden gems there we just talked about. It's amazing what you can dig through in a song. You take the time to listen. Hope you guys enjoyed taking the time to listen to our conversation. I'm Brandon. This is at SMI Podcast. Of course, SMIpodcast.com is how you can get a hold of us. That's the website. That's our social. You guys know what to do with the rest of that stuff. If you enjoyed this conversation, I just hope that you share it with a friend. Maybe somebody a fan of Walker Hayes. Somebody just a fan of just knowing that they're in the same headspace that we're both in. Who knows? This is for anybody and everybody. Hope you guys are staying safe out there, that you're taking care of yourself. You're not stupid. You're loving. You're kind. And we're taking care of each other, but far apart, 6 feet at least, right? All right, take care, everybody. Be well. Happy surviving out there.